Somebody said about draping.
Hello.
Isn't the first chapter in Campbell's something to do with draping? I hope you all read Campbell's Operative Orthopedics nowadays. There's also a book which is about 120 years old called Pye's Surgical Handicrafts, PYE.
Yeah.
Try and get a copy.
Yeah. Tushar sir will even tell you the page number on which tibia draping is written.
The bottom line is courses are meant to discuss, to learn, but you will always practice what you have seen. Remember, we as surgeons are apprentices. We learn from our bosses and we teach who is with us. So learn from your practice and experience. Don't and read books. You have to read books. You can't sit here and learn swimming. You have to go to the swimming pool. Read books, go to the theatre. Most of your questions will be answered as you work more and more. So after all these theoretical talks, what you all wanted, a simple, straightforward cases. Nothing too difficult. So this is a financial advisor. He's an office-based chap. He was running out of the building for some urgent work. And he misses the last step and he falls. He likes going to the gym. This is an isolated injury. Anybody can comment on the X-ray. Just volunteer. No trick questions are here. They are very simple, straightforward questions. Faculty cannot answer. Any student, any delegate can get up and say on the X-ray whatever he or she wants to say.
Yeah. Let's start with Devanshi. First row. Please read the X-ray.
Yeah, she has not helped with the presentation, so she doesn't know.
It's an AP and lateral X-ray of right ankle.
Left.
Sorry, a left ankle showing a Weber B fracture.
Look at the heading. Where is the tibial injury? Yes, so there is a posterior malleolar injury. So, what next? Isolated injury, closed injury, no neurovascular deficit, no swelling, no blisters, soft tissue acceptable. Patient says, doctor, tumko jo karna hai wo karo. Now what will you do? Do a CT scan. Who said that? How will it help?
The CT scan will help to see the articular surface and we can fix it accordingly. If
So,
the incisura is involved or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
when will you not fix a posterior malleolus? See, the world has changed. When all these Laug Hansen came and Weber came and when posterior malleolus was not fixed. Those days, we used to dorsiflex the ankle and say posterior malleolus has fallen into place. Then came the stage where we said less than 1/3 put a AP, ignore it, more than 1/3 put a AP screw. Now we talk of this. So, here is your CT. What else you want to know? So, now my question, you still have to think, when will you not fix a posterior malleolus? How does this CT help you? Anybody else who wanted a CT scan and didn't say it? You want this view? So, there's your posterior malleolus, easily seen. Now what will you do? Who decides on this CT whether to fix or not to fix the posterior malleolus? That remember one thing is old teaching. It was done when we were in your place. Now the aim is to fix the fracture. So you buttress it, you need not fix it. So you restore the ankle anatomy. By doing that, you will restore the syndesmosis and the length which comes with the fibula, but sometimes fibula is comminuted. So what you are saying is little bit now done and dusted. So how does this CT scan change what you will do? That is my question. So if you do more and more cases, you will realize that you can interpret the X-ray as well as the CT scan and you can do away with the CT scan. Anyway, so here now you know there is a posterior malleolus fracture which I want to buttress and a fibular fracture. So what is the plan of action?
We can go via posterior lateral approach and we can fix the posterior malleolus and fibula in the same incision via posterior malleolus buttress plate and fibula.
Excellent. Which first?
So posterior, no. Fibula first, sir.
Fibula first.
Posterior malfolds, sir.
So here's your 3D CT if those who didn't want a 2D CT, and this is what was done.
So, Dr. Tushar, there is a difference of opinion. He says posterior malleolus first, he says fibula first. So, can you enlighten?
So there is no always right and wrong. If it's comminuted, you have to decide which one first. Do the non-comminuted first. Doing a non-comminuted fibula first restores length and rotation, makes your posterior malleolus buttress easier. So what I do sometimes is, in this case, actually put a lag screw. Did not put a fibula plate. Then fix the posterior malleolus and then came back and put my neutralization plate. So you can play around as long as your result is good. If you think your fibula is comminuted, then finish off your posterior malleolus which is non-comminuted. So you've got your length and rotation, then fix your fibula. Usually fibula is not comminuted, so you get away with a fibula fixation.
So my reason was, if we fix the fibula first with a plate, viewing the posterior mal will be a little more difficult because...
So if you put it's not that difficult because your approach is through the soft tissues. And you can always do the approach, leave it and then come back and do the fibula.
So,
And
how many of you all would like to fix this posterior malleolus from the front? It is so easy. Patient in supine position. Can you fix it from the front instead of going all the way back and opening? Can you lag it from the front? Can you lag that posterior malleolus? If you can go to previous X-ray. From the front, just put a screw from the front and hold it. Is it possible? Under image. Let's say it was a bigger, slightly bigger fragment.
So bigger chart, first you have to reduce it to fix it. To put a screw, first your reduction has to, how will you reduce it? How will you hold it before you put your screw?
So
Remember,
suppose
when
you
put all your
get
lag
reduction.
screws-
Suppose it is undisplaced or you've got the reduction. Would you still choose between anterior posterior? Because anterior is easier.
Dorsiflexion and?
Putting a spike to just to hold the fracture then and then putting the K wire looking in the P arm and
Spike
So
from
what-
where? Spike from where?
the posterolateral approach which we did.
No, we are talking of
We are
AC
talking,
screw.
we keep the patient supine, we fix the lateral malleolus. Posterior malleolus is minimally displaced, big fragment. Can you lag it from the front?
So that's what I'm telling, sir. Posterolaterally approach वही रहेगा.
No,
Same
we are
रहेगा.
not taking a posterolateral approach. We are taking a lateral approach for the fibula. Indirect fixation of the posterior malleolus from the front. Is it possible?
I guess even it is undisplaced, when we'll try to fix it, it will push that.
Or you can hold it with a towel clip or something percutaneously.
Yeah, I used to do it in the past. Now I've stopped.
Yeah, why? What is the problem in fixing?
Front, put a K wire, hold it first and lag it.
So what is the problem as per AO in fixing from the front? Yes, see, you are going to use a cancellous screw.
And it doesn't close
Now
the
you,
gap
for any cancellous screw to compress, all the threadings have to cross the fracture side. Now you don't get a cancellous screw with such less threadings. So your threadings will be in the fracture side, so you will not compress, you will just hold. It will be a position screw, not a compression screw. So it is not ideally to be done from the front.
One more thing, you have to understand the mechanism of injury also. Because even if you get a reduction, which is difficult, and when you start mobilization of the patient, there is a good chance that it may get displaced later on. So if you have a plate or any structure that is pushing it from behind, then you will have a more chances of avoiding this kind of a complication.
So as Satish said, AOS said you can't do front to back. 30 years ago, AO said do front to back. So the aim of today is, even you all will not practice what you all are practicing today in 10 years time, but learn to yourself, think and evolve for yourself. So this was a very straightforward post-operative. Anybody wants to critique this X-ray, what is acceptable, not acceptable, that should be part of the course. So this is a posterolateral plate. The fibula plate has been put posteriorly. This is a pre-contoured lateral fibula plate. Remember, I have put it posteriorly. Sometimes patients have money, so you can put what you want. And this is a T plate. It's not a pre-contoured posterior tibia plate. This is a T plate that has been put there. Anybody wants to critique this X-ray? Good, bad, ugly? Which one? But you can see the soft tissue. He's a tall chap, gym chap, he doesn't really, that 2 mm is not going to hurt him. But you're right, that screw is longer. So, this goes on to heal well and he gets back to his gym and activities.
So if I were to ask you, you have done your medial lateral fixation and now you decide to put a syndesmotic screw here, which hole will you use to put the syndesmotic screw? You have to put one syndesmotic screw, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes lying there. Which would be your most preferred location?
One below the oblique screw.
You mean from below the second screw?
Just below the oblique. Just below the oblique screw.
This one?
Above that.
But will not that go through the inferior tibiofibular joint?
Or one above that.
Don't keep changing. Finally, which screw hole would you like to use for putting a syndesmotic screw here? What is the ideal placement of a syndesmotic screw? 5 centimeters above. 5 centimeters is 2 inches. That is way ahead. Yeah. What is the ideal placement of a syndesmotic screw?
Just above the distal tibiofibular joint.
Just above the notch, the fibular notch. Okay. So whenever you are putting your interfrag or whatever, keep that in mind. Now this interfrag will obstruct that screw. He did not require here, but in case he requires, this would be a problem. So what are the steps? You identified the screw level, then what? What next? How will you start
Steps
drilling?
of a syndesmotic screw. You've done a hook test, it is mobile, now you want to put a screw. Which drill bit, what, where, why, how?
We will do drilling from posterior lateral to anteromedial.
Which size?
30 degree angulation.
Through the plate.
30 degrees? Which plate allows 30 degrees? And why 30 degrees? Why not straight? Why not straight? Why 30 degrees? Why not 15 degrees? Why 0?
You have to engage the tibia.
Because the fibula lies behind the tibia, right? It is not in line with the tibia. 30 degrees, there is no plate which allows, maximum allowed is 15 degrees. That is your angle. So you angle, then what? You drill 4 cortices, then what?
4 or 3.
Would you want to put 3 cortices or 4 cortices?
Which one is better? Which screw? What quality of screw? Which type of screw you will use?
Would you use a cancellous screw or will you use a cortical screw?
Fully threaded, partially threaded.
Come on, somebody answer. What will you use?
So 3
use a cortical
cortices, 3 cortices or 4 cortices doesn't matter.
Okay.
The spongiosa screw will be the much better option.
What screw?
The cancellous screw, fully threaded.
Fully threaded cancellous screw. Why? See, this is a very important
It's a
thing,
metaphyseal area,
syndesmotic.
that's why. Metaphyseal area.
So first of all, if you cannot bend you cannot angulate a cancellous screw 15 degree. It will not go through that, first of all. Secondly, a cancellous screw by default is designed for compression. That is how the pitch of the plate of the screw is designed. Do you want compression here? Do you want to compress the syndesmosis or you want to reduce the syndesmosis and hold it? How will you prevent over tightening? All that you have to remember. So it is not just putting a screw. So after you drill 4 cortices, what happens? What next?
So I think 3 cortices and just touching the subchondral bone of 4th cortex.
So 4 cortices.
To avoid over tightening, I mean.
No, 4 cortices, you have to remove the screw before weight bearing. In 3 cortices, you don't care. The screw will toggle, it won't break.
No,
if you do 4 cortices, you don't have to remove as long as you tell the patient this will break and ignore the broken screw.
So the current, see, it is also a state of constant evolution. But the current AO teaching is 2 tricortical screws or 1 quadricortical screw is enough. Okay? At the superior border of the notch. The important thing is, before you put the screw, you have to reduce the fibula into the notch. Otherwise, you will fix it in the position that it is, right? So how do you do that? How do you ensure that your fibula is in the notch before you are fixing it? Because otherwise you will fix it in the unreduced position.
That overlapping between the fibula and the lateral surface of the tibia should be less than 10 mm.
What views will you see on the C-arm? What will you see clinically before you fix?
On C-arm, we'll have to check for the medial clear space, which should be 4 mm.
Medial clear space, okay.
No.
What else?
Tibia fibula overlap.
In AP X-ray, there should be overlapping of 6 mm.
AP view or mortise view?
Mortise में 1 mm and AP में 6 mm.
Anything else?
External rotation, stress view, you do a stress view, you rotate, and so in that there is widening.
That is to diagnose if a syndesmosis is there or not.
Sir, 15-degree internal rotation, mortise view, tibia fibula should overlap at least 5 mm. 5
So there are various signs. This is something you'll have to go home and read. There are a lot of it. There's a Mercedes-Benz sign. There is
coin sign or dim sign.
So many things, but this it is not just putting the screw. Okay, putting the screw is even the company person will do it. That is not a big deal. Your job is to see that it serves its purpose and it serves the purpose, intention what you have done.
So to throw a spanner in the works, nowadays, avoid syndesmotic screws, put tight rope. So quick, now the bell has rung. 25-year-old, history of fall, the Sunday playing on turf, heavy ground, slightly overweight, closed injury, nil neurovascular, no blisters. Anybody, what will you do next? CT. I told you faculty can't answer.
Reduction.
Reduction, yes. First try to. So this was the attempt. Not all hospitals have casualty, not all patients will listen to you for vocal anesthesia. So this is the best that could be done. Then fix, but before that, anybody wants to decide on the plan at this moment? Fix with what, where, why? Which plate, which implant? No CT now. No, so actually a CT was done, but I had done it for somebody, so I don't have the CT. But this is a case where I actually put a posterior medial plate, not a posterior lateral. So fibula plate, if you can see, is pure lateral. Then turn the patient on a posterior medial plating of the tibia. Has anybody done that approach? As opposed to a posterior lateral. So again, that's something which you need to think about. So like how you don't think of a posterior lateral upper tibia, think of a posterior medial approach to the distal tibia. You all read it, no? Clubfoot and turquoise approach. So it's there, you just need to use it. Go on the side of Achilles tendon and shift all the tiger territory to one side. Anybody wants to name those 5 structures which need to be looked after? Anybody? Anatomy. Which are the 5 structures you will keep carefully? Chalo, that much more reading. Thank you.
Chalo, thank you.